Hi guys, and in this series, I'm going to be talking to you guys about the sun signs in every zodiac. So, what are sun signs? The sun signs is where what your zodiac sign is during the day you were born. So, for example, if you were born in November, your sign would either be Sagittarius or Scorpio. So if it's within March 21st onwards, and then your sun sign would be Aries. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. Because Aries is the point of beginning, and that would be a keyword. And if you're thinking that I'm not an Aries, so I really would just want to skip this video, don't think that way because each zodiac sign, all of these 12 signs plays a major role in each and every one of us. So even if you don't have Aries in your chart at all, well, that would be impossible for some, but um, there will be a hint of Aries in you because if you are aware about the birth chart, if you know how to get a birth chart, you will have to probably go to Google and type in the keyword a free birth chart and you'll get a whole bunch of lists and you'll get to see what your sun sign is, moon sign, ascendant sign, and all that. There are different houses right there, and each of those houses has a natural sign. Like, for example, the first house. The natural sign of the first house is always going to be Aries. So, regardless what your first house is, um, it has a modifying factor of an Aries. So we all have an Aries between in every one of us basically. So yeah, Aries has the keyword of I am, and you would notice that Aries people are tends to be selfish, self-centered, those kinds of stuff, and they have a lot of energy in them. They are excitable people, always want to move, always need to be doing something. They, a lot of them are quite restless, cannot sit still. They have so many ideas, so many thoughts coming in them. And Aries rules the head. And you would, that is why a lot of Aries, whenever they get sick, it's mostly a lot to do with their headaches or they have really, really great ideas. So that's why a lot of Aries are pretty good executives. The only thing that's quite problematic about Aries is that they have a hard time sustaining things. They have a hard time uh, bringing stability over something because they always want to shake things up. And that is the reason that when a person has a very, very strong Aries, they tend to butt heads with people. They tend to be argumentative, too aggressive, too noisy. Those kinds of things can be problematic. Like for me, for example, I'm not an Aries, and the only Aries in my chart is my seventh house, and I am a Libra rising. So here's the key. Now that is going to be helpful for all of you guys who are into astrology. Find out where your Aries is, and it is the point where you first operate. So a lot of your actions are going to be in relation to what house it is in. So for example, for me, my Aries is at my descendant, which is the seventh house. So I tend to act more, having a lot to do with my with partnerships, Libra. And when we talk about partnerships, this is not just about being in partner with someone on a romantic level, but this is more about talking to people, trying to harmonize things, trying to judge things, those kind of stuff, and could be good or bad. or I tend to butt heads with people, especially when it has a lot to do with fairness, what is right, what is wrong, um, those kinds of stuff. Also, you need to check the degrees, like if it's in the first degree or 13th degree, all of these are going to be triggering a lot of Aries. So even though that I don't have any Aries, I don't really have too much aspect with Aries because this is triggering my seventh house and I have a lot of signs in 13 degrees. So it triggers me taking action over something because Aries is where things begins. It is where things operate. So, and also a lot of Aries wants to experience a lot of things. And this is the reason why a lot of Aries tend to have mistakes because they tend to be quite impulsive and, they are short tempered and they suck at waiting. They just cannot wait. And, if there is something that I can do about it, I'm just going to do it anyway. And it really depends though, and we're just speaking about the sun signs and the personality and their drive in life. So, for example, for me, it's on my seventh house. My drive is that, you won't usually see me trying to initiate something. You won't see me trying to fight with someone over silly stuff. But if I see a friend of mine getting bullied, um, you'll see I'll do something really crazy and surprising because I just hate I hate it when something being unfair is happening behind the scenes or something that I'm aware about, those kinds of stuff. Or, I can be quite aggressive when it comes to relationships, or I tend to fight with my partner, those kinds of stuff. So those things happen. And so, yeah, Aries has a lot of ideas. They tend to be quite noisy, full of energy, and a lot of Aries would always need an outlet because if not, they're just going to be all over the place, trying to butt heads with people. They always have something to say, something to complain about, or, whether they just keep that to themselves or say it publicly to people. So a lot of things are always going on in their mind. So yeah, um, am I missing something? Aries. Oh yeah. So a lot of Aries, you cannot just push an Aries around. It's best to not tell them what to do because they would just gonna do things their way and their way at all. You cannot tell them to do things because it's needed because they are the type of people that I am going to be doing something when I want to do it, when I feel like it. Aries are not really an emotional type of people, but they can be passionate. It has a fiery nature in them, but it's a fire that's untamed. You just don't know when it's gonna be exploding. It's really up and down kind of stuff. And the lesson here, especially if you are a woman, is that you need to be more receptive. You need to be more, probably wait for things to happen. Try to be more quiet, those kind of stuff. Try to coordinate with people. Try to learn how to understand people because you are not going to be in the same wavelength, especially if you're dealing with in terms of love, a lot of Aries women might have a lot of troubles in terms of their love life because they vibrate a very masculine energy. And this is the natural law of science, the law of life is that you are a woman, you need to be more on the feminine side. because it's a natural action of a man to initiate things. And when you have Aries, you are the one who wants to plan things, want to initiate things, and want to do things now, 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 now. Let's do it. And sometimes you just need to take a pause for things to really move forward. And a lot of Aries needs to take care of their health, try to conserve their energies because they sometimes, as long as they have energy, they're going to be doing things a lot forwardly. And what happens by then is that they deplete their energy and gets very sick. Overly doing things are one of the issues with Aries. So when you have Sun in Aries, it's all about doing. And sometimes they do things in a self-centered way. It's like trying to cooperate with someone in their own way, in their own time. So it's just like, I am really cooperating with you. It's just that we're gonna do it my way. Is the kind of thing that you get to deal with when it comes to having an Aries. So, and for example, if you want to trigger an Aries, then try to um, pushing their buttons, trying to provoke them are the stuff that a lot of Aries are being weak about, unless that they have an alignment that can, weaken that factor. But a lot of Sun in Aries, they tend to be provoked, especially with argumentative kind of conversations, those kinds of stuff. They can have a sarcasm in them. And a lot of Aries are quite interested when it comes to career as well and wanting to start projects, starting something new. But they kind of feel that when you're dealing with an Aries, they would have to need a counselor or a guide that will help them to sustain something, help them to keep things in order, and help them to tell someone that will help them to slow down and let us finish this task first before moving things further because they have such grand ideas. And the problem with that is that they have so many ideas, they don't know so much how to execute it and finish it. It's like, okay, let's do things like this in the beginning.